proudest day and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears Rally Podcast, Season 3, Episode 47. And we're going to talk rallying once again, but before we do, I suppose, Connor, is to get everybody to please like, share, rate, subscribe. All those things make a difference, so please continue to do what you're doing. So we're going to look back at the Kerry mini stages. We speak to Richard Moffet and Darragh Kelly, the winners from the event, and then we also look forward to is Killarney Historics. And the big news, Kalle Rovanpera is coming, and I thought I'll get a chance to, talk to Jason Gareth Black to see how the deal for the Starlet come around. And then you spoke to Meirion Evans and just kind of got his thoughts on how, the Yaris has bedded into the rallying, and looking forward to Rally Japan, Melvin Evans Motorsport going international. So, what can we say about this week's episode? It's sponsored by Toyota, the car in front, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, common theme. All our stories revolve around a Toyota in some shape or form.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I suppose, Kerry mini stages last weekend, it was kind of a, I don't know, not the right thing, but like a warm-up for the WRC. Like the fantastic facilities they had there. They used the service area was the MTU down there in Kerry. An absolutely world-class, and it just shows what we have here in our doorstep.
Yeah, listen, one of the things which is necessary for running the WRC event is facilities that can host the service park and media and the rally HQ and everything. And certainly MTU Kerry seemed to have that in abundance. And a lot of the competitors were really waxing lyrical about how good the facilities were.
Yep, that's for sure. So that was a real big major tick there for everybody there. And it's just fair play to the motor club and everybody there involved, because it all seemed to work like a clockwork.
It certainly did. And come here, 6 very fast, very competitive stages. There were some fights out there.
That's for sure. Richard and Darragh put down the marker in the first stage, 8.5 quicker than anybody, and that kind of set the scene for the day. They just seem to drive. You'll hear from them themselves, but they seem to drive well within themselves, fast but tidy as well at the same time.
Yeah, look, they had a really good run in the Starlet, and really impressed. And there was some fights out there along the way. They lost a couple of people, and were claimed in the early stages between mechanical issues. But it wasn't easy either for them. No,
that's for sure. And for a guy that's only out, I think 4 times this year, it just proves the pace is there too. And it's always wee niggly issues and one thing and another. The likes of Donegal, he showed pace, but there was always wee things going on in the background. When he gets a good clean run, he's hard beat.
He is hard beat, and John O'Dugan put it up to him as well. He didn't let him get away that far in front either.
No, and Chris O'Callaghan put in a storm and drive there too. I know Richard's not going to Killarney Historics, but I think it bodes really well. I think that the modified battle coming up now in a few weeks is going to just be out of this world.
Yeah, no, it will be worth watching now, all right. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and also coming from Kerry mini stages, like we're talking about historic, and Donegal kind of battle there. John O'Donnell and Paddy Robinson up against Donna and Rory, and both in matching M3s. John got a wee bit of a jump on the first stage, and Donna came back at him all day, nipping, and finally got him on the last stage. I think it's 1.3 seconds between them at the finish. Intense battle. The crack must have been mighty between the two crews, because you could see at the end that the banter going on with them and all. It looked as if them two crews had a fantastic day.
Yeah, they certainly did, and ridiculously close. For it to be separated by 1.2, 1.3 seconds at the end, just nuts.
Yeah, that's for sure. So enough of us waffling on here. Let's hear from Richard and Darragh. Richard, it just seemed to click yesterday morning. Fastest in the first stage, was it about 9 seconds quicker than anybody over the first run yesterday?
Yeah, don't really don't really know where that came from, to be honest. It was a stage that we'd done in reverse the previous year, but to be honest, it didn't really bear any resemblance apart from sort of knowing the lay of the land. But it was obviously, weather was unseasonably good. It hadn't rained in Tralee all week at all. There's no rain overnight, but just up on the mountain stage, there's like a little bit of mist comes down. So there was a bit of dampness under trees and that, but for the 3rd of November, it was as dry as it's going to get. We went with a soft front and a medium rear Cooper that we run, and they were actually used. We didn't have. Ideally, you would have went on a new set of those, but we just had ones that had done 2 stages, so we put those on and seemed to work really well. And I don't know, technical stages, it's very, it's narrow and technical all the way through. Like, it's no big motorway stuff at any point. And that seems to always suit me and definitely suit the car, I think, fairly well. So yeah, look, we didn't do anything different or special. We just got the head down, felt the notes were really good. And with a field like that behind us that there was yesterday, you're just thinking, like, don't make a mistake here on the first stage and throw it all away. If you're in reverse or you spin, like, with a top 10 like that, that's probably your day over. So just trying to be tidy and smooth and carry speed where we could. We would have recorded the recce and watched it. I'd watch it back on Saturday night and again on Sunday morning. And I just note down a few things like in my head to try and just jog the memory a bit. And then after that, it's just all notes. So yeah, come off the stage first on the road, so you have no barometer at all of how you went really. But Rob Duggan was behind us, and he tests up there. I don't think they do anymore, but he certainly tested up there over the years. So I was wary enough of you wouldn't have to be too far asleep for him to be on top of you. So I was keeping an eye just over the line, and you'd know if someone was had taken 10 or 15 off you because they'd be right in on top of you. So I was happy enough that wasn't the case when I pulled up to Killarney, and yeah, it turned out it was a good start.
And is that your first time running number 1 on the road as well?
No, we won Baltinglass in 2013 in the 2-litre car, and we went back the next year and we were one on the road that day. We came second. So
yeah, and does that like bring a different kind of like dynamic to it as well too? You have no breaking points to gauge you. There's no kind of, I don't know. Is there like any? Is it any different basically what I'm coming from?
Not really. It's different on the road section. Darragh, we can't just follow out wherever we're going. And we were even saying deciding where we would always go out the road, and then at some point before the first stage there'll be 10 cars or 20 cars in front of us, and they'll be pulling in to do tyre pressures and so on. But that was up to us to decide really where to set the trend on that. And obviously you have to follow the road book bang on when you don't know where you are and you're not following anyone. So there's that, and then. On the stage, not really any different. I mean, we were all remarking it's obviously perfectly clean the first run through, but to be honest, without R5s, none of us are trying to cut in, and the stage just never really got muckier all day. They just dried up if anything. Whereas with R5 cars, you'd notice a massive difference with the muck being pulled out with the cuts they're taking. So no big advantage or disadvantage that way, I don't think.
Yeah, and like Darragh, then obviously different pressure from your point of view. Then being the first car on the road. You have to get the road work perfect then as well too, because you're not following the previous guy.
No, I suppose so. That's the case. But hats off to Sean and the Kerry Motor Club. The road book is one of the best I've ever seen. In terms of accuracy, going out the road, all the junctions. The same with the stage setup as well. Hats off to them. During the recce on Saturday, all the location numbers were up. The bales marked on the road, arrows in place for braking points. Fantastic. Definitely a credit to them.
Yeah, because the motor club. Like I was talking to Sean Moore last week, and they were putting in a big push here with the new service area. Like it was a big ask for them to move away from the Bana Beach there, because they've been there forever now at this stage. And I have to say that the whole new service area that seemed to be very well received by everybody.
Yeah, definitely so. That unit out in MTU that they've got, fantastic, and everybody was commending that. Even in terms of the service. Straight in, one direction of flow for all the traffic, a separate area then for the spectators to come in and park. Very well organised, very well laid out. Definitely, very good.
Yeah, and that just makes it so much easier for everybody. Service crews, spectators, everything just in a good flow.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose we were lucky with the weather yesterday. But we've all been to service parks when it's wet and the gays are in the gutters and stuff, and it's unpleasant for the guys trying to work on a car in them sort of conditions. A ground sheet only does so much for them, so to have a premises like that for service, definitely commended.
Yeah, and Richard, with the conditions obviously the way they were too, it makes there still is a bit of a gamble with tyre choice, but it takes away a lot of the variables. It's just kind of down to compounds then, really.
Yeah, just compounds. There'll be no running water. I like those sort of dampish conditions where the car's moving a little bit under. I don't mind that. And yeah, like I said, we went soft medium. The only other choice really would have been to go softer than that. But the second stage then is very different in terms of characteristics. It's open and abrasive tarmac, and a lot of long fast corners on it. So you'd be compromising by the time you got to there. So we probably got it right on balance. And as it turned out, we ended up leaving the same tires on all day. So we started with a U set in the morning and didn't even put a new set on her. So that's a bonus.
And it's not often you can say like a car with 300 odd brake horsepower going out to the back wheels that a set of tyres lasted you 6 stages.
Yeah, near to 400. Yeah. No, not often you can say, but I suppose it was 10, 11, 12 degrees, and it was a day for trying to get traction in a way. Not like, I think the thing has changed a little bit as well from what it used to be. Like we'd be trying to knock the lighter up out of junctions and unnecessarily be leaving sort of rubber behind you. But they work very well. Like that Cooper tire has a massive range in terms of what it can do. In terms of temperature and condition. And yeah, so by the end of the day, it had done the four tires we used had done 8 stages. And we were still able to go, get quicker. So it's a big testament to the tire.
Yeah, and you were saying there, you weren't lighting up the tires. Is this something you consciously, adopted into your driving? You're taking a more steady and tidier approach.
Not overly conscious, but just you'd be aware, like at when you get up to trying to compete with the type of fellas that are there and in other rallies in class 14. If you're going sideways, you're going backwards, at this point. Now, look, we all like to, the car's trying to go sideways the whole time anyway, so it's still a lot of fun to drive, but I think gone are the days of leaving black lines in every junction. You can still do that, but you'll not do that on the top of the time sheets.
And Darragh, like from your point of view, this more, tidier approach and, faster, does this feel even different from the passenger seat as well?
It would to an extent, I suppose, Kevin, yeah, but really the stages at the weekend didn't allow for that either. As Richard said, there were technical, tight, big high banks either side of you. If you put your nose out at all or did go a wee bit sideways, you'd pay the price for it. So definitely the stages wouldn't allow for that at the weekend. But yeah, the neater driving style, I suppose, it's not much different to calling notes, to be fair, but it's just a quicker approach, I suppose. Like you just need to be neat and tidy.
Mm-hmm. And then, them technical stages, there's a lot more work in it for you as well too, because you have to be note perfect. And do you feel that a wee bit extra stress with that, or is it something you really enjoy? Is that is that where you get your buzz?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we all get our buzz going flat out down the stage, kind of thing. The technical stage, I suppose, there is a wee bit more work. They're faster, there's more notes. I suppose on that 12k stage alone, we had 15 pages of notes. They talk about a page per kilometre, but obviously with the additional corners and stuff in that first stage, there was a wee bit more note calling in it. But no, we all enjoy going flat out. Like I think that's definitely where I get my buzz from, and coming to the end of the stage and knowing that you're top of the time sheets, and the guys behind you are scratching their heads. Yeah, I definitely get a buzz from that.
Mm-hmm. And Richard sent me through the NCAR from stage 5 there, and I think you were even shocked yourselves how much quicker you had been than the previous runs as well too, and it's just it looked very natural. Yeah,
I suppose we kind of 30-second lead or whatever at that stage, and we kind of said we don't need to push as hard in here. We'll just keep it neat and tidy, just keep it steady. And then I kind of was watching the watch on the way through it, at various junctions throughout, and I could see we were quicker by ever so slightly. And then we came to the end, we were 5 quicker again. I suppose it's hard to find that fine line from, slowing it up a bit, or, you run the risk of going too slow, and dropping too much time. It's nearly easier to keep the push on. You know, it flows much better. The car works better. And yeah, it's definitely easier, you know, to keep that flow when you are pushing on.
Yeah, Richard, the fine line, that's what it is, isn't it? Like, you know, if you're too ragged, suddenly you're galloping up out the ditch, and like, with those guys coming behind, you can't afford to drop, you know, even, you know, 5 or 10 seconds. They just pounce on it.
Yeah, look, I think you know, more and more, like if you make any sort of mistake like that, or you're losing, throwing 10, 15 seconds away, like it's very rare you're going to be able to come out on top or win your class. And you know, luckily yesterday we just never really even had a you know, a half overshoot at a junction or whatever. It was neat and tidy all day. And sort of that's where you need to be at now. Like in the Harvest a few weeks ago, we had a decent time in the first stage. In the second stage, we had a half spin installed, and like you're dropping 6 or 7 places down the class, you know. So we knew that was the case yesterday. Like I said, we had Rob, Conor Murphy, Chris, Ryan Loughran, Johnny Pringle. There was a list behind us that we very much knew in the morning that if we were asleep starting, you know, it'd be very hard to claw back. So I suppose that was in our mind, trying to be on the ball in the first one.
For sure. And like, you know, the Chris and Jono, 2 guys that has really come to the fore this year. Like all the other guys have been about for a few years, but like it's always great to see new blood. And like Jono this year, he's getting a consistency coming to him now as well.
Yeah, for sure. Jono's you know, sort of coming a long time. Plugging in a lot of good times. He hasn't always had the luck. But you know, when you start to string a few finishes together, it's funny how the pace comes along with it. And he's got good knowledge in Killarney now as well. He was down there last year and had really good results. So he'll be pumping to get going again in a few weeks.
Yeah, and like Darragh, you know, like confidence breeds confidence. Like, and you know, as that work both sides of the car, you know, if never Richard's going well, do you feel more confident? You're in a better place then as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, it's all about a relationship in the car. You need confidence and trust in each other for this all to work. You know, we were actually just commenting on this coming up the road last night about how relaxed the rally was. You know, it was very well organised, and there was this very relaxed atmosphere about the whole rally, from sign on that morning, recce, through scrutiny for signing on again, and then even the morning of the rally, very, very relaxed. And that relaxed atmosphere, I think, we probably took into the car with us. And, you know, we weren't uptight, we weren't stressing, we weren't overthinking about the stage and what lay ahead. And look, it worked in our favour.
Yeah, because Richard, you know, I suppose it's like everything in life. If you're in a good place doing it, it makes it easier. And I suppose driving a rally car is no different. If you're feeling good and feeling relaxed, it's almost natural then when you get behind the wheel.
Yeah, for sure. And we were out 3 weeks ago. I haven't done a lot this year really, but we were out 3 weeks ago, and we had various problems all day. But it does help when you get back into the seat. You know, 3 weeks later, you don't feel you have to take a few miles to get comfortable or anything like that. So I would consider that a help as well. You just, you know, feel more comfortable and familiar, and you know, it's not all so new again. So I consider that an advantage. But certainly, yeah, we try not to be getting too flustered. Darragh wouldn't be shouting and roaring match or any of that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's the way we always try to be.
Yeah, and like, you know, you've only done, I think, 4 rallies this year, and like, does it always take a stage or two, you know, if you've been out of the car for even, you know, 6, 7 or 8 weeks, but, you know, and then get back in the game? Does it just take a wee while to getting the head reach into you?
Yeah, it's probably just, you know, it's like anything you do, you know, the more often you do it, the more comfortable you become. So that works the opposite way too. You know, you can start to get a bit rusty. Like I wouldn't, you know, I feel over the few years now like pretty comfortable in the car generally, but there's definitely a sharpness that you get with being in it. You know, a couple of weekends in a row, and really good sort of run of a few rallies in 2022 as well, and we found the same thing. You know, if you're going another 3, 4, 5 weeks later, and you're putting one result on top of another, you know, it starts to become a lot more comfortable. But the reality is, like anything else, if you're playing football or rugby, any other sport, the more you play, everything else slows down around you. So I reckon it's no different in the rally car, and if you can be comfortable doing 120 miles an hour, then that's a good start.
Like, you know, as much as you would love to be out every other week and doing rallies up and down the country, like life sometimes gets in the way. Work, you know, it's not easy. And sometimes you have to just prioritise what's more important.
Yeah, for sure. Look, sure, we want to tell you out there that they wouldn't love to be doing every rally there was, but you know, neither time or money are infinite, so you sort of have to pick and choose and balance everything. But funny, we were just saying yesterday, you know, at one of the stages we were chatting with the rest of the lads there, and the mini stage format is really good. You know, we actually went down on Friday night, but we didn't leave on until 5:30. We were down, we reckoned less than 3 hours on Saturday morning, nice relaxed Saturday afternoon, and we were pulled out of Tralee, having done the ramp and everything at 4:30 yesterday, home at 9 o'clock, you know, so there's a lot to be said for that. Obviously, we all like the big events and you know, 2 and 3 day events and with the big recce and all of that, but I think there's an awful lot to be said for compact route, you know, quick recce. And obviously then the other factor is with the mini stages is, you know, we're in a modified car battling to try and win the rally, and that's like attractive to all of us in modified cars, because you know, for all the good results that, you know, was in that top 10 yesterday I've had over the years, like when you don't get that many chances to be top of the pile. So yeah, I was saying yesterday, if there could be a 4 or 6 round mini stages championship, I think it'd be very well supported, because, you know, the more time goes on, people are balancing, like you say, work and life, and they're just, you know, they're a really good format, to be able to go and do one set of tires, like I said, for the day. That's another factor. And you know, you're getting just as much sport and competition for it.
Yeah, because like, you know, like look at the way the championships are going now, the tarmac rounds and even the national rounds. Every round's, you know, oversubscribed with entries and one thing and another. And you know, a few years ago the mini stages were a thing. You know, like there could have been 5 or 6 in the country. They kind of fell by the wayside. Maybe it's time to do something that could be looked at.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not in Motorsport Ireland or anything like that. You know, not involved in any sort of organising capacity, but yeah, like we were talking about coming up the road yesterday, you know, I think like it was a brilliant top 10 yesterday, and beyond. But you have Baltinglass still, I think, in Killy have a mini stages, Hartlands in Port Banna's there every 2 years. Monaghan used to have one. I did it years ago. Donegal have done one before. And obviously there's other championships and so on. But you do see, you know, I think at the modified level, there's like budget constraints. You have to pick and choose. And therefore, I think championships aren't necessarily very well supported. You know, a lot of people start and do a few rounds, and then you have a couple of non-finishes and whatever. But the depth of a sort of a modified field that does the whole championship, yes, there are big entries on individual events, but that does the whole season is probably not that much. Whereas I think, you know, not that it's going to happen, but if there was a championship which had 6, you know, simple rounds, north and south, and like I say, you have all the convenience of sort of one night accommodation, chance to win the rally, and you'd probably have a very strong field, I would have thought.
Yeah,
that's a conversation maybe for another day.
And Darragh, even like from your point of view, you know, you've competed in 4-wheel drive, and you know, and like, do you see like value in like, whenever you're actually fighting for the overall one, rather, you know, don't get me wrong, class 14, you know, you're well up the field, you're probably still, you know, in the, you know, top 5, you know, 5 to 10, something around that. But like, if the chance for the overall one, does that even push you on that wee bit more as well too?
Oh, it would, of course, yeah. You know, everybody wants to be fit to say they've won a rally overall. But I suppose, like what Richard's saying, you know, I suppose the older you get and work commitments and everything else, it is tough, you know, to put in that sort of time. You know, I know them international events, even take Donegal, for example. You write off a week, you know, to go up and do that between recce, prep, doing the rally. You know, it's an awful lot of time to take off work and other commitments that you may have. So the likes of that mini stage format definitely, I do believe, would appeal to a lot of guys that could possibly go down in the morning of the rally, or possibly maybe the evening before, but one night accommodation, do the rally and up the road again and back to normal life. Yeah, definitely, I'd say it would appeal to a lot.
Yeah. And Richard, I suppose then, you know, the last question then you kind of alluded to there was Killarney coming up now in a few weeks, Kalle Rovanpera coming over, but you'll not be making the journey down?
No, I'm not. I'm actually going away to Australia for Christmas for a month the following week. So again, time and money aren't infinite, so can't do everything. But no, I decided a long way out that I wasn't going. But David threw the hand up, of course, as soon as Kalle was announced, like lots of other men. So he is planned to go, and we've persuaded Dad to take my car as well. So entry pending, which I think will be difficult because there's going to be a well-subscribed historics entry, and then obviously a lot of people looking to get into the modifieds as well. So he is the entry in anyway. So hopefully, if someone in KDMC is listening and can do him a favour, then he'll be down as well. And yeah, look, it should be a mighty event for the sport in the country. We were staying with Ger Conway over the weekend, so him and Rob Duggan and the other locals will be licking their lips to see what Kalle can bring. So yeah, I'll be watching on very, very closely.
So thanks there now to Richard and Darragh there. Appreciate them taking the time. Coming up now in a few weeks, Killarney Historic, and the news that has just rocked the Irish rally in, Kalle Rovanpera coming, and it's still just pinch yourself that this is really going to happen. And when we heard the news, we checked the date, it wasn't April Fool's Day, so it must be true. And the two guys that kind of started the ball rolling was Jason and Gareth Black. So I thought I'd catch up with them, Connor, just to how did this happen? How did this come about? And it's a brilliant story, isn't it?
Look, it's a fantastic story, and it's such a good news story as well. And you kind of, you have to scratch your head and go, really, a world champion, two times world champions coming to Ireland, and he's going to borrow somebody's, Starlet to. Listen, it's just too good a story not to listen to.
Yeah, that's for sure. We're mad about our modified rallying here, but I just think this is going to put modified rallying onto a whole different stratosphere.
Yeah, well, that's it. And, it's going to bring plenty of attention to the scene that we have here. Like, we know when Kalle goes drifting, or as he was this week testing an F1 car, the amount of social media and attention it gets. So we can only imagine that Mall's Gap and Ballabina and all the rest are just going to be all over, Instagram and Twitter, etc. It's just going to be incredible.
Yeah, can't wait. So let's hear from the two boys. Jason, how did it all happen?
Well, that's this man here. It originally started. I suppose we'd seen the online of he was doing a part season, and I sent a screenshot of the guy and goes, "There's some crack to get him in my car for an event," and thought nothing of it. And then a few days later, I suppose
we're Mayo then at the rally. Really,
I was saying before that though. You talked to him, and thought nothing of it, and. Gareth had sent an Instagram message, and he got a reply back, "Yes, I'd love to." He was almost straight away. So so it was a wee bit surreal. We didn't know, was it him talking to us at all, or was it someone else looking after his social medias? But after a few messages, I realised it was him. And then I suppose talking, was it Mayo?
Yeah,
Mayo rally in the bar with Paul Nagel. I kind of mentioned it to him, and I kind of all spiraled from there, I suppose.
So Gareth, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, no, well, it was one of the things that we talked about, and I kind of just came upon myself. Says, "So you don't ask, you don't know." So just one day I was on Instagram and I just wrote to him, and kind of it's all spiraled from there.
Whenever the response come up and it flashed up in your screen, you've received a DM from Kalle Rovanpera. Like, did you think it was somebody taking the hand at you?
I just didn't know at the very start. I kind of screenshot straight away and sent it back to Jason. And he actually replied here.
Yeah, because this is not a two-time world champion. He's 23 years of age. This is a young guy that at the height of his game, and to be thinking he wants to come here, that's just mind blowing.
It is, yeah. No, he'll not be the current champion at the time that the rally comes around, but he's two-time champion there at the moment, and no, it's unreal that this is all coming together, and it's going to be some exciting weekend for everyone. Never mind ourselves.
Yeah, because this has given the Irish rallying's in a really good place this last couple of years anyway. But this has took it to another level altogether. Like the excitement that come whenever this was announced, everywhere was buzzing about it. We were up in Dunnes that weekend for the Formula 2 reunion. Nobody could believe it. It was all just going round the whole table. It's like wildfire. Kalle Rovanpera's come down, and oh no, it couldn't be right. Is it April Fool's or what is it kind of thing? So.
Yeah, no. That's it.
There's big hype. Like I was down at the in Kerry at the rally at the weekend there in Tralee, like, and all the hype's mad when you talk to Winnie out next. I hope I'm entering into Killarney. I'm entering into Killarney.
Oh, everyone's looking at race.
Everyone wants to go to Killarney.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you can take about 300 entries.
Yeah. No, we're getting messages from all over the world to our rally page saying that they're coming to watch the event because Calle's doing it. Like, so it's going to be really good. Like.
Yeah, because I've heard that there's no accommodation to be got anywhere in the Killarney area at all, you know, and like that is just like, yes, it's busy every year, but I think this year's just a whole new level as well.
It is for sure, and even people from around here getting campers and stuff and going down to camp out in the stages because, just as you say, there's no accommodation and everyone just wants to go and see it and be part of it.
Yeah,
you don't know when if it ever happened again, but hopefully maybe this will be the start of, you know, world champions coming over and rallying again in Ireland. Like, it was a thing in the past that
you could bring current champions over and current WRC stars. I suppose it'd be good to see.
Yeah, because like, you know, it probably, you know, we know how good our rallying is, and we like to tell everybody about it. But the fact that they want to come here obviously speaks volumes for how good a product we have here.
Well, that's it, yeah. To be fair, I think Aaron Johnson had been singing the praises of Ireland to Kalle, and he had buzzed him up a bit, I suppose, about the rally, and kind of that got him in gear till actually make the whole thing happen. This had all started whenever we were first chatting to him. He didn't know what rally he wanted to come to.
He was kind of talking in June, and then he kind of the only thing we could think would be Donegal.
But I thought it was just a lot. It was coming up too soon, and then this year came around. Aaron had mentioned about going to Killarney, and I think it was a more suitable option to give us a bit of time to think about it and get stuff organised. So.
Yeah, because I probably worked better for everybody. It was the end of his year, because he has, even though he's been doing a part season rally, and he's still been very busy between the drifting, racing. Like, you know, he's just living the dream as like any 23-year-old would want to do.
Yeah, just tries his hand at anything and is as good as anyone at every sport. So he seems to be just turns up and wins.
and Gareth, like, I don't even believe it. Has he ever even drove a right-hand drive car before as well? He's going to have a lot to learn as well.
No, well, that's I asked him. I had asked him on Instagram. Just as I asked him, you know, is the right-hand drive going to be an issue? And he says, just pretty much no, shouldn't be if I get a test. So he's pretty confident. Yeah, a bit of a test. And
he kind of said he hadn't drove one before, but surely if it's a test, there'll be no issue. So hopefully, Ace, for the talent he has, it should be able to turn his hand at anything.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you know, somebody that is so you know, like, he has more talent probably in his wee finger than I'll ever have. Like, he will just, you know, he will just jump in and slot in.
Yeah, I'll just switch on. Like I say, I'll just dial in. But the main, like, the things be is just to see what he actually thinks of how we drive a car or setups in a car is going to be interesting too. That, you know, will he even like the setup that Jason uses in the car, or will he completely transform the car the morning of the test to something?
Yeah, because that is the thing. Because, like, you know, you've got the car, you know, to the way you like it, but that mightn't suit him, or, you know, if he does change it, it mightn't suit you when you go back into it again then either.
Yeah, exactly. So Paul says he's very laid back in the testing and he mightn't do much testing altogether, but I suppose we'll see on the day. We don't really know what to expect, and he's not giving us much information to play with, so
yeah, at the moment, like, we currently don't even know when testing's going to be, so
but we'll just let it be
here and see when.
Yeah, and like you mentioned there, Paul Nagel and Aaron Johnson's been instrumental in making this happen as well too. Like, whenever, you know, two of our guys at the very top of the game have the ear of the world champion, it just, you know, it helps open doors that probably wouldn't be opened any other time.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, it's a fantastic opportunity, and I suppose with Aaron was a final touch on the whole thing, because he has been talking to him during all the tests and all, with it being in the two of the team, and thankfully he was able to get a lot of it sorted out, all the finer details sorted, and it's nice to be able to bring him here.
Yeah, and the fact that he's coming in a Toyota as well too probably ticks a lot of boxes for him as well too.
Yeah, well, I think that was a big part of it. So it was. I reckon it would maybe been an Escort. It mightn't have been as simple. But yeah.
Yeah, because like Gareth, you guys have been banging the drum forever. Like your dad come up through the ranks. You started out in the like a 1400 up to 1600 2 litre. Like the Toyota has been part of the Black family now for over 20 years.
99.
Yeah, 99. Dad built his car, so yeah, it's been, I suppose, all my life anyway. So it has.
You nothing different.
Yeah, and like this hasn't happened just by chance either. Like you just put the feelers out there, but there's a lot of other people involved in the background. Like the prep for the car alone, like the amount of work that's went in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Jerry Buckley and Nigel Wilson have put in a lot of effort for us the last few whiles. Like Jerry's been spent countless hours at our house there, getting it all pieced together, and I suppose refreshing a lot of stuff. Maybe the mileage wasn't up, but just making sure it's
trying to put the best car under him that we
can.
Just
we don't want him to come the whole way here and something give up. So trying our best to get her as good as possible. We had a small test ourselves there last weekend just to make sure all was going good and ready to rock. So yeah, all's good, and get a few stickers on her now, we'll be good to go.
Yeah, so, and like you have been very lucky over the last couple of years too. Some great people behind you. Are they sticking with this project then now as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to give them a big shout out to a good few of our own sponsors that are staying on board for this. So Brybar Construction, Bath Shack, Racing Rally, DFS Digital, Road Tankers Armagh, and Kerry Clean Machines. They're all personal sponsors that have been stuck by me for years. And I suppose we've a few local people here now that have came on board too for the rally. So very thankful for everyone. Mallow Road Motors, Kelleher's Toyota, KC Print, and Killarney Towers Hotel. So many thanks to all of them for making this happen.
Yeah, because like all those names there, every one of them I'm saying a rally guy's head and name in my head as well. And this is rally people, getting behind this, making this happen as well too, and that has to be applauded, because a lot of the time, they don't want to see somebody else come over and doing well, But no, the rally community is not like that. They want they want this challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Like whenever I mention to anyone, any of my sponsors, you say a lot of them are rally guys and they're mad about this for them to make this happen. Like, and only for them, like a few of them couldn't. Whenever I rang them a couple of months ago to tell them this was happening, like they were as gobsmacked as I was when I first found out about it. So
and Gareth, you were saying then at the weekend, you were down in Kerry for the mini stages there, and everybody's buzzing about this. All like I know up in Donegal, everybody's talking about it. It must just be front page news down around Kerry.
Yeah, everyone's asking, and have you got the car ready? How's it all going? How's the planning going? When's he coming? When do you test? And at the minute we haven't even all them box ticked ourselves to. Nothing's confirmed just exactly yet, but no, some buzz. Like it's just everyone's geared up for it, and I suppose it's good for ourselves. Like the whole team, all our own boys that's been about us all year, they're all coming down and start to help service and try to keep the whole thing running. So
it's nice to be able to give back to those guys as well, because they've stuck through with us now over the last few years as youth have grown, and they're travelling the country. To give them the opportunity to work with a world champion, like that's pretty special too.
Yeah, exactly. It's all family and friends. Like it's they look after our cars and help us on the events, and very thankful to be able to give them this opportunity. And I would say I'll have a serious buzz. Like I know Jerry Buckley cannot believe this is happening, so he's all buzzed.
Jerry's not going to sleep for a week before
But I think he might not be the only one. Because they always say, that the lakes, the baby lake starts Christmas in Killarney, and like this is never mind starting Christmas. This is Santa Claus coming.
Yeah, the crowd on Paul's Gap on Saturday morning will be unbelievable.
Yeah,
you'll be walking miles to get up into it.
Because even the last few years, people saying if you're doing the recce now, even on the Thursday, the sides of the roads are lined with campers and one thing and another. And like, what's it going to be like this year? Like I would say, you're going to have to go down Monday, Tuesday, probably with the camper van to get parked in.
yeah, for sure. So it's going to be good. Like it's going to be some battle, and it's going to be nice to see what he's going to be able to do against these Killarney boys. So he's someone to put them in their place.
Because everybody dreads, what time Rob Duggan's going to be in, going up the gap, the first thing in the morning. Never mind Rob Duggan at this stage, what Kalle Rovanpera.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say the end of stage interviews now will be good.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of it on their side of the stage.
But showing how serious the guys are taking this. Yanni's coming over, his co-driver and all is coming over. He's not getting a local guy to come over and sit with him or nothing. He's bringing all the guns with him to the fight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no half measures. So that's all. It'll be a good experience for us to even work with a co-driver at that level. I know Carl's mad to get hearing from Yanni and any secrets that he can. So any tips to improve things for his side. So should be good.
I could think this has to be a 1-1 for everybody. The exposure it's going to bring to Irish rallying, the experience you are going to get, to see these guys up close and personal. There's no downside to this.
No, as you say, yeah. So now we just need the car to finish. So that'll be the downside if we don't get over the start line.
But there's no entry list out obviously at this stage, But you can imagine it's going to be the who's who of modified rallying. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody wants to be there. I would say that the entry list is just going to be the cream of the cream.
It is, yeah. Class 14 is going to be serious. I wouldn't want to be the person doing the seeding for this rally, so I wouldn't. I think there's going to be
a few phone calls,
a few disappointed people maybe there was an entry list about, because by the sounds of it, there seems to be a serious entry of stuff coming, and to pick out who gets on that entry list is going to be a hard one.
Yeah, and then as you say, they might be disappointed, but then at the same time, if you're in the car, you're not going to get the opportunity to see him on the stages either.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
And then the Storks, they take priority, so any Stork car their first priority. So the modified field mightn't be that big.
No, that's true. Yeah, because there's a whole lot of guys who've gone down the historic route this last year or so as well too. Yeah, so. So that's going to attract a mega entry too. And there is something very special about Killarney at the end of the year. There is that kind of party vibe, the end of the season, kind of last hurrah. This will bring a new dimension to this as well too, because Killarney on Saturday night's just going to be off the scale.
Yeah, well, it's going to bring a lot of, vibe to the town itself. Killarney, the town itself is going to benefit well for it. All the hotels booked out, and financially it's going to help at that end of things as well. Never mind what the rally's going to gain from it.
Because a Saturday night in December is probably not, probably is good for the town anyway. But this is going to be a different level. This is going to ripple out from Killarney, all the surrounding towns, villages, anywhere there's a bed, there'll be a head on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's it. And it's just even the worldwide exposure for Killarney town and Killarney as a rally. Mm-hmm. Is going to be mega. Remember, just before I come on, I just went on to Facebook, and there was the WRC had shared about Killarney. They had a post up there, and as I say, it just gets the name out around the world. So it is for everyone.
Yeah, and is there a wee sort of pinch yourself every now and again, thinking, this was a kind of a silly idea that just took legs and won from it.
It has, yeah.
It has been, yeah.
So, yeah.
And I suppose then the final question to wrap things up then is, he's getting your car for that run. When's the return the favour? Will we expect to see Jason Black in a Yaris in Finland next year?
That'll be good. So we haven't worked at it. At the end of the day, we'll have to work on that one. So fingers crossed.
And Gareth, what's your thoughts on it? Would you co-drive for him if he's doing Finland, or will you let Carl in?
I don't know, it's bad enough sitting in the Starlet beside us. I don't know. I'd have to go for the experience, just.
Great story from Jason and Gareth there, and genuinely I'm so excited that Kalle's coming and going to be taking their Starlet up the gap. Genuinely can't wait to see that. Speaking of visitors to our shores, we're used to seeing Meirion Evans the last couple of years, and we had Meirion competing in Donegal and Cork earlier this year. But Meirion's team, Melvin Evans Motorsport, won the WRC team challenge, beating M Sport, which is quite incredible. And Chris Ingen driving the Evans Yaris won the BRC outright. But part of the deal they had with Castrol, or part of the support from Castrol, is Castrol, to reward them, wanted to bring them to WRC Japan. So I thought, fantastic opportunity to catch up with Meirion and see how that all came about. Meirion Evans, a busy year for you, and certainly you must be happy beating M Sport to take the team title in the BRC.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it was never meant to be that busy a year for me, really. We just kind of settled we'd do the BRC, and it was 6 rounds and quite short rallies, but it turned out that the year on the whole has been stupidly busy with some other things, and but at the end of the day it got to the point on the Cambrian where it was quite close between us and M Sport, and to get that over the line, get one over on them again was very nice, and for Chris to get the Drivers' Championship as well. First year with the Toyota and everything, it was really good. And don't get me wrong, it was challenging at times, because when you have a new car and you have to find out things the hard way sometimes, like we have, and it's you have to react quickly and move on quickly. So nice to get that at the end. It was a nice reward, to be fair.
Yeah, I was going to ask, obviously you've been running the Polo for the last couple of years, so to switch over to the Yaris, to a brand new car, that's fairly new to everyone, and I suppose to a certain degree still untested in a lot of environments. Like, how was that? How difficult? Was there much of a learning curve there?
Yeah, I'd say there has been. To be honest, when we did Donegal in June, I thought we were over the worst of it, and we had it pretty much thereabouts. And then kind of into the second half of the year, we seem to have uncovered a few more things that are just more so in my own car. I've seemed to have found a lot of the problems, which fortunately has meant Chris has had pretty trouble-free runs to go and win the championship, which I suppose, if you look at it on balance, it's probably worked out the right way, because if he'd have had issues, then, it might not have worked out as nicely for us. But, it's just been little things, and, still the car, I think speed-wise is competitive. It's just ironing out some little niggly things. And, the sad thing for me is when we did the test for Cork 20 back in September in the dry, I said to Dad and Jer after the test, we can win the rally with this car. I mean, it's very, very good. And then obviously we didn't really need a car; we needed a boat. So, but it was a shame, because it would be nice if we'd have had a nice day in Cork 20. I think we could have really kind of sort of proved where we are with it, but it wasn't to be.
And development wise, is there more to come from the car? You think there's still plenty there to be discovered?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot. There's new things. Damper wise, some mapping stuff coming out for Japan next week. So we've had that this week. There's a lot of new stuff, to be fair, even at this stage. And I know there's some things in the pipeline for next year as well. So Toyota, they're working quite hard. There's a lot of work going in. There's I think one more test left this year to see little things that they've been working on, and to try and get them, if it's worth applying, to get them through in time for Monte Carlo in January. So look, there's a lot more to come, I think, from the car. I mean, this year has obviously been quite new for everyone. People forget as well, it's Toyota's first time ever running a customer program. Like, they have no experience of it at all before. So in more than one way, we've kind of been learning as we go in terms of driving the car, setting it up, the mechanical side of things, and even in terms of ordering parts. So to be fair, it's been fine. And we've got the first year out the way, which for me was always going to be the most tricky. And I think the package we've got now is good enough, and we can work at it and keep getting better next year.
And you've been attracting as much attention off the stages as you have on, with that beautiful Castrol, color scheme. The relationship with Castrol seems to have gone from strength to strength.
Yeah, this year has been a bit crazy in that sense, to be honest. Even we went to do ERC Poland, and the interest about the car was incredible. We won then the delivery of the year with ERC. We only did 2 rallies, but it's still, But yeah, the attention the car's attracted everywhere we go has been unreal, to be fair. I had some autograph cars made, and I think there was 300 of them, and they were gone by the autograph signing in Poland. So it's a massive interest about the car. So I just don't know where to take it from here. Do we just put the same back on it for next year or what?
And then obviously, that partnership with Castrol, we had the surprise announcement at after the Cambrian that they were basically going to bring you out to compete in Japan. Obviously, from a spectator point of view, that was out of the blue and unexpected, but I'm sure that's been brewing in the background for a while.
Yeah, quite a long time actually. There was some things thrown about earlier this year, and then kind of we said, yeah, it would be nice to do, because what I found even earlier this year, the interest we were getting from Japanese people on social media was massive. Like, I think I put a tweet out back in May or something, and it got about 150 likes, and it stopped. And then the next day, it went up to 1,000. It was all Japanese people. So obviously, I thought then it'd be nice, but still, you kind of think, yeah, well, we've probably had these ideas floated about a lot in the past. And then we had a meeting actually back in July, and it seemed to be pretty serious. So from there on, kind of as the organisers have released more and more info, we've kind of got to a point where in the end we had to make a commitment. And Castrol, to be fair, they committed to it, and something that they're really, really passionate about, I think, as well, with the Japanese market. And they have so much history out there as well, with like the Tom's car and everything like that before, aside from the rally stuff. So yeah, it's a big event for them. I mean, Castrol have I think like a 100-meter square something display area in the service park with like the old Corollas, old Celicas, the Tom's car, and everything like that. So it'd be quite impressive. And yeah, I think the Japanese people deserve it, because they've been so enthusiastic about this car this year, and to be able to take it there, actually, it's going to be really special, I think.
And a big undertaking for Melvin Evans Motorsport. Like, you are actually bringing the car out to Japan. You're not hiring one when you get there.
No. The thing is, we looked at hiring a car, and if it was possible, but all the Japanese customers are doing the rally, so understandably. So we have to take the car out there. It's obviously the car to do the British Championship first. So once that was sorted, that's when we kind of knew we could send the car out to Japan. It's flying out next week. So yeah, it's a fair undertaking, to be honest, for me as well. Kind of trying to be to sort then the logistical side of it and getting the car there. So over the last month to 6 weeks has been pretty hectic, with finishing the VRC Poland, and then the whole time this was burning away in the background. You just had to try and keep tabs on as well. So probably not giving myself enough time to really focus on my own stuff. But yeah, with a project like this, I mean, the thing with Japan is it could be once in a lifetime. So we've got to try and make it work.
And logistically, I'm sure there's a lot of work there, and a much trickier task than bringing the car to Poland.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. In fairness, we've got Michael Gilby involved. He's worked with Hyundai on this rally in the past, coordinating. So he's done a fair bit of work while I've been away doing other things in that sense. But yeah, logistically, it's quite a big operation. Luckily, we have a guy out in Japan who we've luckily, I would say, started dealing with this year with old Subaru WRC stuff, and he speaks English and Japanese, so he's going to come in very, very useful next week. But yeah, that's been useful. But yeah, just logistically, it's just things that you don't think of, because there are certain restrictions with like air freighting a car, that you can't send certain things, and you have to make sure that you've got them there ready for you. So you're quite restricted with what you can send. If we had a container, it would be a fair bit easier, because you could just put everything, or like all of your own stuff, in the container. But it's quite tight to get everything there. And then I think initially, the plan with the car is, I hope I think it's going to stay out there for a bit after as well, to do some promotional stuff. So yeah, it'll be good.
And like, obviously you're not competing yourself, Chris is, but you will be there, I presume, and working away, making sure the car is fully serviced, etc.
Yeah, making the tea, all that stuff. But yeah, no, Chris, to be fair, has had a good year, and I think early on in the year, like the Castrol hoping that Chris would do a World Championship rally anyway, so it kind of ties in with all of that. And I think off the back of the year he's had, it's a great opportunity for him to go and show himself at the highest level. So yeah, and on top of that, it's a big event for Toyota as well. Being the home rally in Toyota City and everything, and being able to bring the Castrol car there will be quite special. So yeah, and I don't mind. I've had a busy year myself, so I'm not saying I'll be relaxing, but maybe a bit less stressful than having to think about doing all that video work and wrecking and the really long days and stuff again. But yeah, I have enough to keep myself busy at it.
And we're into November now. Is it too early to ask about next year? I presume it's been on your mind, but is there anything coming together?
Nothing coming together yet. There's I have some meetings and stuff this week just to see what direction we're gonna head in. I'd like to maybe, part of me, I've missed Ireland this year a bit. Obviously, I think I came back to Donegal and I told everyone, they're like, even though I've been rallying there for the last 4 or 5 years, like coming back to Donegal after not doing one there for like 10, 11 months, it was like, whoa, this is really big. You know? But yeah, look, it'll be great to come back and do something like that again. If we can do 1 or 2 more, it'd be great as well. But yeah, I'll know more probably by Christmas, by the time Killarney Historic comes around. But I won't be there because I'm going to stay out in Japan for a bit of a holiday, so I'll miss that for the first time in 12 years. But yeah, I think there'll be so many people there. I don't think we'll be able to turn around when Killarney comes around.
And you know, we've seen the BRC kind of, you know, really go from strength to strength the last couple of years, and a very competitive year this year. Would you be optimistic that, you know, they'll be able to recreate that next year?
It would be nice, yeah. Like for me personally, like I didn't really realize until I went back this year that a lot of these BRC rallies, I'd either never done them before or I hadn't done them for about 7 or 8 years. I mean, the last time we did the British Championship was 2017, I think. So quite a long time. So I think, you know, when I said I'd do it earlier this year, I was like, it's a British Championship. I know the rallies and everything, it'll be fine. But it actually turned out that I think all the rallies apart from Ceredigion I hadn't done for at least 6 or 7 years. So that's been quite tricky, actually. And I think now that I've got a bit of experience on them, it'll be nice to go back. And I think, like I found in Ireland, once you do a rally, you know, you're going back for the second time, it's so much easier and you can be so much more competitive as well. And the other thing for me is I've really, really enjoyed the gravel this year. In terms of driving, like my speed, don't get me wrong, it's not where I want it to be, but you know, I think it's just one of those where you need to give it a bit of time and build the mileage. And I'd hope if we go back, we can be a lot more competitive across the board then.
And the Rally 2 Yaris, is it better? Is it suited to either gravel or tarmac? You know, which one kind of do you feel it works best on, or is it equally? You know,
ironically for me at the moment, it seems to be like it's very good on gravel. Chris seems to prefer it on gravel as well, but you know, I'd say maybe that's Chris has only done 1 rally on tarmac with it, where you know he had an accident, unfortunately. But even you look at that, the first day, at some point, I think we were 2nd and 3rd in the rally overall at one point. You know, some nominal times, some politics stuff chucked me back a bit in the end. But the car's got the speed. It's just the understanding of where you need to be setup wise for each kind of condition or rally. But yeah, I think obviously with Toyota being based where they are, a lot of the early work was probably done on gravel, and that's probably showing early on that it seems to be very strong in certain places on gravel. And the only like nuance we've got is the tarmac we use is quite unique, quite bumpy, and I think we found a few issues for them this year in that front, and I think it's getting rectified now. So we should be able to hit the ground running next year then, and you know, have a properly good go.
Yeah, and from that point of view, like, are you a bit of a guinea pig in the sense of you know, trying to find the issues with the car and feeding that back to the team?
I've definitely felt like one of the times this year. We'll put it that way. You know, for me, like there was a few things that's happened. Maybe you think you shouldn't, but then you realize the car's new and you have to take it on the chin a bit. I mean, like obviously everybody's seen the accident we had in Poland. Like now that's raised an issue it's sorted pretty much straight away after. So you know, a year down the line, that's not happening. But you know, that's a position we put ourselves in. So yeah, obviously it's disappointing, but yeah, and it probably held us back through the rally as well. But you know, we've found now that what it was, and you know, it can be sorted, and that's just how it is, I guess. I mean, you look back down the line of all the new Rally 2 cars that have come out, like even Volkswagen now, everybody, you know, has said how great the Volkswagen's been, but they had a very tricky first year as well. So yeah, I think Toyota, to be fair, it's not been too bad. You know, you look at if Sammy finishes in the top 2 next week, I think they win WRC 2. They've won the British Championship. They're good chance of winning the Spanish Championship. I think there's another national championship they've won somewhere as well. So it's not been a bad first year, all things considered.
Great to hear from Meirion there, and some exciting plans there for Melvin Evans Motorsport. So great to hear. So that is season 3, episode 47. The episode brought to you by Toyota. Really appreciate all your listens, kind comments, all that. Please keep them coming. It's all just makes a huge difference. So until next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.